Alrighty, folks, we are here early with an emergency situation. We have a PDS tornado warning ongoing for portions of North Dakota. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located several minutes ago over Cannonball by weather spotters. This is a large and potentially life-threatening tornado. This PDS tornado warning will be in effect for the next several minutes. This just got issued 3 minutes ago. Again, the tornado is located just east of Cannonball, and it's going to be riding up Highway 1804. Eventually, if this keeps moving off to the north-northwest, this will be entering the general vicinity of Bismarck, North Dakota. Again, this is a PDS tornado warning. That stands for particularly dangerous situation. It's a deadly tornado. Again, if you are in this area, you need to run, do not walk to your safe spot. Again, we weren't going to go live until 3, but obviously that didn't end up happening now that we do have this emergency situation ongoing. We are going to continue to watch this evolve over the next several moments. Again, thank you all for joining me here. Let me go ahead and change the stream title. Again, we were not quite prepared for something like this to happen. Again, this is pretty extreme. Again, if you're not aware, PDS stands for particularly dangerous situation. These warnings are only issued whenever we believe that there is a large and deadly tornado on the ground near a population center. Give me just a second. Again, your PDS tornado, as of right now, is going to be located just northeast of Cannonball. Again, it's going to be along Highway 1804. Tornado Pagey is on this storm right now. Again, this is a large and potentially life-threatening tornado just east of Cannonball. Again, luckily there's no debris signature or any evidence that this is, impacting any structures or regions that have any population centers just yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay that way, especially with this storm getting so close to Bismarck. I would not be shocked to see a dire situation unfold here if the conditions set up perfectly for this to continue to stay on the ground, which, I mean, it's not a fully discrete supercell, but obviously that hasn't stopped it entirely before. In fact, these mini cell mergers here are kind of helping it more than anything else to continue to produce this massive tornado. Again, this is going to continue to move off to the north-northwest over the next several minutes. Again, it is a weird, wacky storm mode. Yes? Okay. I'm still on stream, so...
Do you want these that you left in here?
No. Anyway, sorry about that. Give me just a second here. Again, I'm going to update the stream title momentarily. We've got the iPad back out so that we can read chat without having to exit the radar. Just a moment. Okay. So again, if you're just now tuning in, we have a PDS tornado warning now in central North Dakota. This is a large and destructive tornado ongoing. What's up, Miguel, Jog, HRRR, how's it going, everybody? Peachy, if you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country. Whether it's winter storms, a hurricane, or tornadoes, we've got you covered. Again, this is a huge and destructive wedge tornado ongoing right now just east of Cannonball, North Dakota. This thing is a beast. It is, again, going to do significant damage to whatever it hits. Again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. It's a deadly tornado. I mean, this is an extremely dangerous storm here for everybody in the path of it. Unfortunately, we don't have any of our chasers live as of right now, I do not believe. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think we have any chasers that are currently on this storm that we have permission to use their feeds for, so we'll just have to leave that be for now. Again, this was a setup that we were forecasting for yesterday. We said, hey, with an uptrend, we could definitely see a couple of tornadoes, and that is exactly what's played out, but to an even more extreme degree than we thought. Again, as a wedge destructive tornado is now on the ground, and it is going to be approaching the Bismarck Metro over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Again, if you are in Bismarck, we plead that you pay attention over the next couple of hours, because this is going to be a very serious situation if this massive wedge tornado stays on the ground and goes right through the city, which it looks like is a great possibility. Again, this storm is going to continue to ride Highway 1806 and 1804. Again, this tornado is currently located just north of Cannonball, North Dakota. Again, this is a destructive storm, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado via weather spotters and storm chasers. Again, this is a significant situation. Again, this is a PDS tornado warning. That stands for particularly dangerous situation. Seek shelter now. Again, if you know anybody out here, make sure that you are giving them a call or text. Send them this stream, whatever you've got to do to keep them safe. Because this is a nasty one. I mean, this is honestly the largest tornado that we've seen in quite some time. I would not be shocked if this tornado stays on the ground for quite some time. Again, this is not necessarily a loaded gun environment, but it's decently close to it. I will say we are lacking a couple of features. If we go ahead and take a look at our instability out here in this area, though, it's actually pretty impressive considering it is September and it's in North Dakota. We're looking at just over 3,000 joules per kilogram of surface instability into portions of Minnesota, but back here into southern North Dakota, we're still stretching into 2,000 to 2,500 joules per kilogram in the far southeast corner of the state. But where we're at right now, just south of Bismarck, is actually only reaching 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of surface CAPE, which is what's going to prevent this storm mode from being highly tornadic in general. Again, obviously, this storm has managed to pop off to a degree that I don't think a lot of people thought was really possible for a day like today. Our SRH out here is also not insane, but it is definitely more than enough to bring us a couple of tornadoes. I mean, the general area here, you're looking at 200 to 300, 0 to 3 kilometer SRH. Again, you get a little bit further off to the east and that starts to dip, but this is certainly a semi-tornadic environment that definitely could bring another instance like what we've already seen here near the town of Cannonball, where, you know, we've got a strong tornado on the ground approaching a metro region. I mean, this is a serious situation. Again, this is a potentially deadly tornado here, guys. So, and again, this tornado isn't super radar evident, but that doesn't mean it's any less strong. Again, this is going to be approaching downtown Bismarck over the next hour if it manages to continue to stay on the ground. We are going to be watching for the threat of a couple of tornadoes today across much of eastern North Dakota. We've got a 5% tornado probability in play, stretching all the way from the North Dakota-Canada border back down to portions of South Dakota. Our storm mode is going to be generally messy, and it's actually going to be a northwestward moving storm mode, which is extremely uncommon for an event like this in mid-September. We're going to be watching for the development of a couple of discrete supercells potentially across far eastern sections of North Dakota. Between now and 7 or 8 p.m. is really going to be where we have the greatest chance of seeing a potential tornado or two. Again, I mainly see a damaging wind threat associated with this event, and as we go later into the nighttime hours tonight and even into the early morning time hours of tomorrow, we're going to be watching a big-time QLCS move across portions of Nebraska and Kansas, potentially bringing some damaging winds, some hail, and some heavy rainfall. And then that kind of brings us into tomorrow, and tomorrow we're not really going to be watching anything too specific. I do believe that they did add a marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong there, but I thought maybe they threw out the day 2 marginal. Let's see. They did not. But again, general thunderstorm risk, they're extending all the way from Dixie back through to portions of Montana. Not really anything too specific that we're going to be watching for the next several days outside of today's threat in North Dakota. Again, we were talking about this yesterday. Again, this is a PDS tornado warning now in effect for Cannonball, North Dakota. Again, the tornado will be past Cannonball at this point. So anybody actually in Cannonball, you're good. But, I mean, this is a nasty-looking velocity signature there, indicative of a potentially, again, intense tornado. So if you're out here north of Cannonball or you know anybody out here in this area, get into shelter now. Again, this is not your average, you know, September brief touchdown rope in North Dakota. No, this is serious. Again, this is deadly. And this is, again, in a worst case scenario, I mean, this definitely could be an intense tornado. So Again, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately anywhere in the polygon that hasn't already been passed through. Again, at this point, we're going to say Cannonball is fine. Areas along Highway 1804 south of Cannonball, you're fine, but everybody else in the polygon needs to remain in their safe spot. It looks like we've got a little velocity couplet handoff feature happening here, which is not a good sign. That could be indicative of another stronger tornado developing. Now that our first one has reportedly roped out. So again, if we do have a tornado on the ground, it's going to be located right in between Highway 1806 and 1804, just off to the southwest of Livonia. Again, Livonia, if you're out here in Livonia, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately. Again, if this stays on the ground, it is going to go into the general vicinity of Bismarck. This is a north-northwest moving storm, and this could be an extremely dangerous situation if this storm remains intact with that kind of tornadic velocity signature as it continues to push northwest. So we're definitely going to be on the lookout here for the next several minutes as this storm continues to intensify. Again, if you're just now tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. Give me just a second here to get an update on chat. How's it going, Carrot, Mr. Storm Chaser 575, Peachy, Jog, H-Triple-R, Miguel. Hope you guys are doing great today. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an intense storm. Again, impressive velocity signature there. It is worth noting that, again, reportedly, this PDS tornado has roped out. But we definitely could see that velocity couplet handoff continue to take place and potentially another spin-up tornado here north of Cannonball. Again, along Highway 1804. Yeah, Tornado Page, you had a look of it. I believe Aaron Rigsby did as well, Jog. Barn is destroyed. Well, we had this little feature here, and again, it's not necessarily indicative of a correlation coefficient value drop, but it certainly could be. I mean, if we take a look at the velocities, our tornado as it was still on the ground here near Cannonball. We got to go ahead and move the camera really quickly so we can fix this. But the tornado as it was on the ground near Cannonball, there was a very small feature on the correlation coefficient that overlapped with that velocity couplet. And there was also a drop in the reflectivity values, what you would typically refer to as a donut hole. So, I mean, it's not entirely impossible that we did see some debris being kicked up by this thing. Again, we just gotta hope that everybody took this warning seriously. I mean, this kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, not kind of, it did come out of nowhere. But so again, this tornado is going to continue. If it stays on the ground, it's going to be approaching Fort Rice. Obviously, a very infamous name in the weather community. But, I mean, as of right now, we are uncertain that this is not already roped out. Again, we've just got to watch for a recycle here. Again, give me just a second here. Okay. So, again, this destructive tornado likely still ongoing north of Cannonball. Again, this is going to be coming dangerously close to the Fort Rice area. Again, a very infamous name in the weather community. Again, reportedly, there has been a barn destroyed by this tornado. Again, this was a monster wedge for a brief period of time. I mean, extremely brief period of time, but still, this thing was huge. Again, storm chasers report large multi-vortex tornado as of 2:08 p.m. What's up, Levi? And then it kind of got larger from there. And again, now is going to be approaching the Fort Rice area over the next 5 to 10 minutes. So again, if you are in Fort Rice, you need to get underground or indoors and away from windows now. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Again, this is a destructive tornado, potentially an intense tornado. And again, if this stays on the ground, the direct Bismarck metro area is going to be next in line. Again, I mean, this is a significant situation and one that we didn't expect to see it all day, and definitely not one that we expected to see this early. It makes me frightened for what's next to come today. Hopefully this is just, you know, a one-off thing, but usually whenever we see these surprise, PDS tornadoes, even before the event was expected to start, that is indicative of the environment overperforming what our expectations were set at. So again, Tornado Pagey on this right now. They are in Livonia, just east of Fort Rice. I would be remaining in my safe spot if I'm out here in Fort Rice, obviously, but I'm not certain that this is going to produce another tornado. But again, if it does, it will go right through downtown Fort Rice, which, again, is a town that has quite a bit of history. So, again, if you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. You know what? Let's go ahead and give some memberships. Why the heck not? There we go. 5 gifted Slight Risk memberships. Congrats to Hurricane Theta, Wade, Mary, Awesome Gaming, and Elizabeth. You have now all been gifted a Davis Does Weather Slight Risk membership. Members get access to exclusive videos, early access to certain videos, shoutouts at the end of every forecast, custom stickers to use in chat, and more. It's as little as $4.99 a month, and it really would help me out. If you would like to become a member, make sure to do so by clicking the button next to the chat. Obviously entirely optional, but it is greatly appreciated. So again, congrats to everybody that just got gifted that Davis Does Weather Slight Risk membership. But anyway. Today's environment is up there. Today's environment up there is solid too. Upper level moisture and shear is a little meh, but the lower levels were absolutely loaded. Still didn't expect this though. Yeah, it was actually Kevin yesterday that, noted the potential for a significant tornado briefly, and I didn't really see it at the time, but our environment did overperform, certainly, to a certain extent. Our lower level shear, and our shear in general, really isn't that impressive, and that's the main thing that was, keeping me from calling this the potential for a SIG Tour event. It is not too often that you will get a SIG Tour in an environment that has, just 60 0 to 6 shear if you've only got 1,000 instability like we do. Again, 60 0 to 6 shear is honestly decently impressive, but you've got 1,000 instability. Your SRH values are pretty decently impressive. Again, the 0 to 1 SRH in particular is kind of meh, but again, if we go over to our 0 to 3 SRH, it was definitely a bit more gnarly. And again, even, just 150 to 200, 0 to 1 SRH, which is what we were dealing with here, is more than enough to produce a brief spin-up tornado. So it is definitely an environment that had the capabilities to do something like this. Just didn't expect it to be so early, and I did not expect it to be this far west, to say the least. A huge flash flood warning was just issued from Fort Yates back up towards Huff, North Dakota. If you're included in this warning, make sure that you are avoiding driving in flooded roadways. This includes areas just south of the Bismarck metro region. Again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're just now tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country. You can still see that velocity couplet intact there along Highway 1806. Again, this is going to be just north of the Cannonball area at this point, approaching Fort Rice as we speak. So if you were in Fort Rice, you've got to get to your safe spot. Again, this is kind of stalling here right in between Highway 1806 and 1804, right along the Missouri River. So it does GIF sometimes to people that aren't watching the stream, Miguel. So that may have been what happened, but we do actually have another marginal risk of severe weather in play for today across portions of the mid-Mississippi River Valley. Now, this doesn't look like a super robust tornado threat, more so a downburst damaging windbag, if anything, but even that is kind of iffy at this point. We're watching to see what happens here, but it's certainly not the most impressive environment that we've ever seen. Our Midwest threat just yesterday was much more loaded than what we're going to see today here. Potentially a couple of brief severe thunderstorms, yeah, okay, but is it necessarily going to be something that we need to watch? Not really. Again, our instability out here isn't all that great. You're sitting at about just 2,000 joules per kilogram, and our wind shear content obviously isn't super impressive either. I mean, it's September across the Midwest. It's not going to be super impressive, but if we take a look at our bulk shear within the first 6 kilometers of the atmosphere even, you're still just looking at a few knots there. So again, these are obviously cape-driven thunderstorms, and there's not a lot of cape to play around with, so they're going to struggle quite a bit to do too much. I would not be shocked to see a localized severe thunderstorm, though, like I said, especially across somewhere in southern Illinois or far western Kentucky. And then we have a marginal risk of severe weather in play across portions of Idaho as well. This is mostly a hail-driven threat. I don't expect anything too robust this far north either. I mean, in general, I wouldn't be shocked again to see a localized severe thunderstorm, but I don't expect anything widespread. Really, the only thing that we have to watch for today is our tornado threat up here in the portions of North Dakota, and then our overnight damaging wind event in the central and southern plains. And again, that overnight damaging wind event could last till, 1 or 2 a.m., so that'll definitely not be something that we remain live for. But anyway. Again, not certain that this storm is going to do anything else. I have a little sus on what that is. It looks to be contamination, though. Yeah, I think that's just contamination. This is no longer a PDS tornado warning. It has been downgraded to radar indicated, but remain in your safe spot if you are out here near Fort Rice or Livonia. This storm has a history of producing a significant tornado. So we'll see what happens here over the next several minutes, but this will be something to watch, certainly. Yes, that Utah tornado yesterday was arguably tornado of the year. I mean, it was a beautiful cone tornado and stovepipe tornado for most of its lifetime. Just south of the community of Monticello, we had an amazing twister, if you're not aware. This crossed the Utah-Colorado state line, remaining on the ground at decent intensity. Luckily missed every structure in its path, but was definitely something to watch there for a while. Okay, now this is, now this is something to watch. Again, I mean, this is still more than likely just some sneaky contamination, but it would not shock me if that was a brief spin-up tornado either. Again, I mean, we had rotation this far south, obviously. Looks like we did have a brief velocity couplet handoff event even. And when that occurred, it looks like we may have just ever so slightly had a brief tornado. Putting my new chair together, this thing comfy. I will say the comfort value in the new setup is much greater than the old. That fiddly plastic chair, the 50-year-old gaming chair, was hanging on for dear life. But now we get to chill in bed while we stream. But again, we are uncertain at this time as to what just happened here with this new correlation coefficient drop. It would not shock me if that was an extremely brief, weak tornado just south of the community of Livonia. Again, a secondary supercell and a secondary hook echo in general was clearly developed. And as soon as that velocity couplet handoff happened, it was ever so slightly intense, but I mean, that's the exact time that our debris signature popped up, so it would not shock me if that was a brief, weak tornado there north of Cannonball again. Our area of rotation that originally brought our significant tornado or wedge tornado is very broad at this point. It's along Highway 1806. Again, that's going to continue to push north over the next several minutes, but we've got to continue to watch what's going on down here. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't bet anything on it, but I mean, it is not impossible that was another brief tornado. Going down into Nebraska, a couple of severe thunderstorms have managed to develop. These are eventually going to be our overnight storms that develop into our QLCS. These are just off to the west of the Lincoln metro area. We've got large hail, significant damaging wind gusts, not much of a tornado threat this far south due to a lack of storm relative helicity and multiple other features. We've also got ourselves, again, that marginal risk of severe weather back into portions of the western Ohio, but I don't expect too much to come out of this. Although I will note we do have some pop-up thunder showers developing now across portions of south-central Illinois. Unfortunately, just south of my neck of the woods. I'd love to go chasing, but it's not going to happen. But I mean, it is hot out here, guys. This is the hottest day of the year for some folks, especially down into like portions of southeastern Missouri. We are at 99 degrees across the Missouri-Arkansas state line. Very well could hit 100. We may have already hit 100. I'm not exactly certain, but again, this heat wave is brutal here for portions of the mid-Mississippi Valley. It is hotter in. It is currently hotter in the portions of northern Illinois than it is in the Las Vegas metro, which is pretty interesting. Not something you see too often. But anyway. Again, if you're just now tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. I see we got 20 people watching. This is the most we've had watching in quite a long time. Donations are obviously entirely optional, but they are extremely greatly appreciated. Again, we do this every day for areas all across the country, whether it's severe weather, winter storms, or hurricanes. We've got you covered. 96 degrees here, yeah. I mean, it is, it's brutal out there across the Midwest today. New observed tornado warning. Let's see. Yeah, so this is another weather spotter confirmed tornado. This is associated not with where we thought we may have had our brief spin-up tornado, but actually another velocity signature there. We have seen, I believe, 3 different confirmed tornadoes now spin up from this cluster of supercells. Again, the SRH content out here is certainly pretty impressive. So, again, if you're out here just southeast of the Bismarck metro region near Huff or areas along the Highway 1804-1806 intersection, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately in the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and an interior room. I appreciate that, Mr. Twister. Again, just south of the Lincoln area, east of Bismarck, watching this newly developed tornado here. But anyway. You know what, we'll go ahead and start a donation goal just for fun. We'll do 30 minutes and we'll say, what should we do if we hit the dono goal? What shall we do? We'll say new Tropic Talks episode tonight. So one $5 or greater donation, we will be doing a new Tropic Talks episode tonight. Alrighty. So again, continuing to watch this tornado push to the north-northwest. Again, currently riding Highway 1804. Tornado PG remains on this storm. Again, weather spotters confirmed another tornado associated with this cluster of thunder showers here. So if you're in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows, and in an interior room. Again, I mean, this is definitely a wacky event, to say the least. I mean, we've gotten halfway to a tornado outbreak with this messy cluster of thunder showers. So we'll see what happens, but Again, it's worth noting some of these storms out here in the portions of southeastern Nebraska are currently dropping some large hail, some damaging winds, quarter-sized hail, and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour with our storm approaching Dorchester. Also got those same threats associated with our supercell near David City. If you're out here in these areas, make sure that you are staying weather aware. Again, overnight damaging wind gusts are certainly going to be a big threat as those congeal into a large QLCS event. But for right now, we've got to stay honed in on our storm in North Dakota. I mean, this is again, a decently populated area. We are starting to enter here. Again, we're going to hope that this storm loses some steam as the instability values out here aren't all that impressive as this approaches Bismarck. Again, a tornado watch is currently in effect, and it will be in effect until 9 p.m. tonight across much of north central as well as south central North Dakota, and then portions of far northern South Dakota as well. This tornado watch is, I believe, a 40-20, a 30-20. So that means we've got a 30% probability of seeing 2 or more tornadoes within this watch polygon tonight, and a 20% chance of one of those tornadoes being significant, that of which being rated EF2 to EF5 intensity. Again, damaging wind gusts, large hail still remain threats, but again, this was kind of right on the line of being a severe thunderstorm watch, but they went with the tornado watch, and obviously we applaud that decision, as we have now seen what these even clustery thunder showers can do. Storm Chaser 575 with the renewal of the 2-month membership. I appreciate the support. W's in the chat for Storm Chaser 575. W 2 months. Thanks to everybody who has gifted me a membership. If you don't have a membership, I would recommend it. It's worth it. Subscribe. You heard it here, folks. Storm Chaser 575 says it's worth it. I really do appreciate that, though. Again, W's in the chat. We are now at... Takes forever to load on the iPad. We're now at... Come on. Any day. We're really doing this. We're now up to 20 likes, which is what we hit out of the entirety of last stream. So, I really do appreciate that. What's going on, Alan? Yeah, again, W's in the chat for Storm Chaser 575, one of the goats. He is here all the time, so I really do appreciate the support. Again, if you're now tuning in, a tornado remains on the ground in in south central North Dakota. This is approaching the city of Bismarck. Again, this is a Weather Spotters confirmed tornado. Once more with this cluster of messy thunder showers. Just shows how potent our SRH content out here really is, that even these, poorly devised storm modes have managed to produce multiple tornadoes, some of which being strong to intense. I mean, this is certainly nothing to scoff with. Again, it almost looks like you've got another couple of hook echo features there on the backside of this clustery storm mode developing. With a pretty clear velocity signature just west of Highway 1804, so we'll see what happens over the next several minutes with that. But, again, for right now, not much else to say, except for my voice cracks are back in full swing, so that's a W. Again, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. Check the storm near Braddock. Assuming that's North Dakota. Yeah, we do have some very broad, weak rotation with some of these clustery thunder showers out here off to the east. These would actually be something we'd be a little bit more concerned about if they could get their act together in terms of storm mode, because our instability out here isn't all that terrible, and our shear is definitely semi-impressive as well, so we'll continue to watch those, but as of right now, they don't pose any real threat for a tornado. Again, maybe some downburst damaging winds, but I appreciate the call out. Again, just waiting for that next radar scan to come in here. What does the audio sound like? I haven't even listened to it with the new phone yet. We'd be a little bit more concerned about if they could get their act together. Doesn't sound too different than it used to. Alright. Again, continuing to watch as this observed tornado warning remains in effect for the next half hour, with our storm approaching Lincoln. Again, if you're out here in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows, and in an interior room. So there's the report of said tornado. Again, multiple cone tornadoes reported north of Hazleton. Again, a flash flood warning remains in effect for these areas as well. Again, turn around, don't drown if you're approaching a flooded roadway. Got a pretty tight velocity signature that's developed here, just northeast of Huff. I would watch that. Again, something a little bit further off to the south there appears evident as well. Again, that is tightened up over the past couple of scans. So we're definitely going to watch that. Again, if you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country. We're getting back into the swing of daily streaming, okay? Yeah. It's been a while. Again, continuing to watch this ongoing tornado here. Again, waiting for that next velocity scan to come out. Let's see if it's out on scope just yet. Sometimes they get their radar products a bit earlier. Oh, we got it on Omega now, as soon as I pull it up. Again, if I didn't know any better, I would say that's a debris signature, but I don't believe it to be. We don't really have any structures out here. I suppose there's one, but it also doesn't line up with any velocity couplet. However, that has kind of been a trend with this storm where they haven't been. It's been a mess. I mean, that could certainly be an ongoing tornado there. Oh yeah, that is. So, another large tornado ongoing with a debris signature along Highway 1804. Again, if you are east of Bismarck along Highway 1804, you need to get off and seek shelter. This is a destructive tornado. Again, a deep debris signature there. As this continues to push north. And it's hard to say exactly how long this has been ongoing for, but looks like it's been a decent bit. Again, this is a damaging tornado. Likely still ongoing here. What's up, Mr. Tanks? Again, still a evident velocity signature just west of there as well. I mean, we could certainly be talking about twin tornadoes momentarily. In fact, that may already be the beginning signs of a debris signature there. I mean, this is a, at this point, we are getting pretty close to tornado outbreak territory. All from this one clustering mode of thunder showers. It is worth noting that this same storm actually did produce a tornado before we started our stream as well. Very early, we had a tornado that ended up flipping a couple of cars on a highway, down some power lines and trees. Again, same exact storm here. It has produced several tornadoes. Several. Okay, interesting. I mean, we're going to hope that that's not debris fallout. It really all comes down to what this next velocity scan looks like. I definitely don't think it to be reflectivity. Yeah, that's just contamination. But, I mean, that hook echo is certainly quite evident, quite intense. Yeah, this looks like an ongoing weak tornado here. Just west of Highway 1804. Again, at this point, it is safe to say that everybody in the northern half of this warning polygon needs to be in their safe spot, as this storm has produced, multiple tornadoes at once. It's had wedge tornadoes. It's had, these tornadoes that we can't even see on radar. I mean, it is a messy thunder shower complex of storms, which, again, usually isn't able to produce tornadoes, and that's a good thing, because these radar signatures, whenever we deal with things like this, especially whenever we're watching hurricane-induced supercells, I mean, it's very hard to pinpoint what's a tornado and what's not sometimes. And again, I mean, this really does remind me of a hurricane tornado outbreak setup. Very reminiscent. But again, I mean, that is as of last scan, that was a textbook hook echo. Obviously, that was a destructive cell merger at this point, but again, nothing that we can confirm with 100% certainty is an ongoing tornado, but your MCV is looking crazy. Yeah, I mean, it is, again, I mean, this is one of the most wacky severe weather events we've covered here in quite some time. Again, MCV events in general aren't super uncommon, especially in the northern plains this time of year, but it is somewhat rare to see them bring a SIG-TOR threat. I mean, this is definitely not your average North Dakota late summer, early fall severe weather event. But yeah. Again, we'll continue to watch this storm here over the next several minutes. Give me just a second, actually. I'm going to stay in this room, but I got to do something really quickly. So bear with me here, chat. We got to clean up. I go to a party later. Gotta make sure my room is clean before I get done. Splendid. Alrighty. So again, that significant area of rotation remains intact just west of Highway 1804. Again, that is going to be located just off to the southeast of Lincoln. Definitely could still be producing a tornado. CC drop south of Driscoll. Oh, yep. Good call out there. So we've got another brief tornado ongoing near Long Lake, North Dakota. This is just east of the Moffett area. This looks like we had another brief tornado here just a second ago as well, with these broad areas of circulation. But it looks like we've got an unwarned tornado ongoing approaching Sterling. So if you're out here in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter. Obviously, we don't really have a tornado warning polygon, so we'll kind of have to draw one out here on our own. Anybody in this area should be, again, either underground or in an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Again, the storm mode today is generally going to be northwest, but it has been somewhat deviant in nature. So again, if you're in this area, seek shelter. Ongoing tornado here. I would go as far to say, if you're out here in this area, seek shelter as well, just south of Sterling, because, again, these broad areas of circulation are, again, not super intense looking at first, but they've had a history of producing multiple tornadoes, obviously. Again, now a somewhat large debris signature there approaching Long Lake. Again, this is an entirely unwarned tornado. This doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning or anything. Let me go and update stream title. Again, this is currently an unwarned tornado if you are just now tuning in southern North Dakota. Again, I mean, this is certainly hitting something. It is crossing Long Lake as we speak. This is in the mountains of southern North Dakota. Broad area of circulation, but very evident debris signature. It is not hiding itself, so. We did just get a new tornado warning for our storm that previously produced the, series of strong tornadoes for Menokin and parts of I-94, as well as Apple Valley east of Bismarck. If you're out here in this area, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately as well. But again, we got to kind of stay focused in here on our unwarned tornado and significant area of rotation near Long Lake. It's quite an interesting name, to say the least. Again, that is a decently large debris signature relative to what else we've seen today. So we'll make sure that we are keeping our eyes peeled on that. I mean, that could certainly be an ongoing tornado still. I will note this debris signature has gotten lighter, but that doesn't necessarily mean much. There might just not be too much to pick up out here. Yeah, I mean, that is a decently strong area of rotation now. What's up, Otter? New couplet in Bismarck way up north. Let's see. Unsure which one you're referring to. Say about this. My voice cracks have been horrendous today. I think it's because I'm getting back into the, back into the mode of streaming. I'm not used to talking for, an hour on end. So, I've just got to prepare myself. Referring to the couple east of Lincoln here. Again, I'm pretty concerned about this unwarned tornado here. I mean, this is a pretty clear, tornado. And I mean, your debris signature is now dissipated. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean the tornado has occluded. There may just not be much to pick up out here, but your debris signature was about 2 miles long at one point. So, again, we'll wait for this next velocity scan, but it would not shock me if that was still an ongoing tornado. Anyway, they have extended the watch into portions of Canada, but with a severe thunderstorm watch rather than a tornado watch. That's going to be in effect for the next 13 hours, so until 4 a.m. tonight. Obviously, we don't really cover Canadian severe weather events, but it's just interesting to note. Again, if you're just now tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country. Again, currently watching this potentially still ongoing tornado, likely roping out though near Long Lake, North Dakota. Again, a unwarned tornado has developed, and at least was on the ground, 5 or 10 minutes ago. I mean, this was a decently large debris signature that was evident on the correlation coefficient. We are continuing to watch our storm that is tornado warned, but is not actively producing, just southeast of Bismarck as well. And they have downgraded both of those polygons to a radar indicated tag. And our tornado has almost certainly dissipated near Long Lake. But again, that area of rotation is going to continue to push north near I-94 next to Driscoll. So if you're in this area, make sure you are still staying prepared. You don't necessarily need to be in your safe spot or anything, but definitely something to look out for. Just stay tuned into the stream here. We're watching a couple of storms convect in far southeastern North Dakota, which is somewhat concerning because, I mean, the environment out here is actually decently impressive. If we were to take a look at the instability out here in this region, you're talking, a good 3,000 joules per kilogram at the maxima of surface cape. Take a look over at your wind shear values. You're also dealing with decent lower level shear. It's not incredible, but it's not the worst you've ever seen. Again, in the 0 to 6, it is only around 30 knots, which is somewhat unimpressive. And then your SRH content is, again, pretty similar to your shear in that it's, enough to potentially bring a spin-up tornado or two, but it's not necessarily all that worrisome. So we'll continue to watch that over the next little while here, but I'm obviously more so concerned about our ongoing situation here near Bismarck. Yeah, it almost looks like we had a little velocity couplet handoff event there. But new haircut, Davis. I've had this for, I want to say, close to a month. I think it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. I was sleepy. I'm very sleepy. Haven't been to the stream for a while because of school. Yeah, we have not been streaming too whole heck of a lot much lately. Just gonna had some stuff going on in my personal life, and then obviously, as of recent, some bigger events worldwide have transpired. And, outside of that, I mean, things just haven't been that active. I mean, we've had a couple of photogenic tornadoes in the middle of Nowheresville. We've had a subpar hurricane season by a good margin. We haven't saw our first flakes quite yet in the lower 48 outside of a couple of very small mountain snow events. I mean, September is known for being the kind of peak hurricane season, so when we're not dealing with any hurricanes, we are really not seeing too much to talk about. Again, excluding June, let me make that incredibly clear, excluding June, this has been a really inactive summer. I mean, we had the Henry, South Dakota tornado, and what else? I can't think of anything. But I don't know. It does feel good to be back. And again, I do appreciate the support. Um, I mean, we honestly, it seems like we've picked up a bit since we left, um, which I did not expect to happen. So that's awesome. Again, Misty with like the $95 in donos total yesterday was incredible. Give me just a moment. I think this is going to disconnect my audio and camera for just a second, but give me just a moment here. Alrighty, we should be back. Give me a 1 in chat if you can hear me. Alright, see the one there from Otter. Appreciate it. You got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the goal. I don't think we're going to hit it. Alrighty. Again, I would not expect this supercell to continue its wrath for too much longer. I mean, it's been producing tornadoes for like 200 miles now. Not 200 miles, but I mean a good 90. We have been watching this thing for quite a while. But the instability out here again is beginning to get quite abysmal. I don't expect to stay live too much longer because, like I said, I've got some stuff to do later, but I don't know. Dude, I am tired for some reason. I got good sleep last night. I've been going to bed at a very reasonable hour. Even on the weekends, it's been like 11 is the latest I'll stay up, pretty much. But I don't know. Pretty significant uptick in our velocities within our tornado warning polygon near Menokin. So continue to watch that. Preferably, I'd like to hit the 1 hour mark on the stream. Then we'll probably end off. It is somewhat refreshing to be using my iPad for chat again. It's just very slow. Alright, see you, Storm Chaser 575. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for the renewal of your membership. Greatly appreciated, my good sir. We had 25 likes. Let's go. Waiting for this next velocity scan, see what it's going to tell us here. We're at 58 minutes. It's crazy how during the summer I could sit here for like 4 hours every day and not feel a thing. 59 minutes. I do want to... Okay, there's our next velocity scan. Yep, don't see anything too dire at the moment. Again, tornado warning remains in effect, but as of right now, we don't have too much to watch. So we're probably going to end off things here. I do appreciate everybody for coming in tonight. Or this afternoon, I guess. It's 3 p.m. I don't think I can call it tonight yet. Again, we will probably not be back for the next several days. Just because it's not going to be super active here. We may have a Tropic Talks episode here and there. But outside of that, I mean, that's about it. So again, thank you all for tuning into this live stream. We are getting back into the swing of things, for sure. So I appreciate y'all for coming in one last time. I just want to make sure that we do hit the 1 hour mark. There we go. Peace out, chat. Have a great rest of your